Morning, guys. October 1st, the day we've all been waiting for, is finally here, and Michigan has blessed us with a rainstorm. So, this leads me into a topic that I wanted to chat with you guys about that I use pretty religiously here, and we have been working on this for over the last couple of years on how to get an app, a weather app, a movement app that I feel is pretty bulletproof, and that you can structure your week, your day, your week, your month on when to be in the woods, when not to be, and how to make sure that we're not in those stands when the odds are against us. So that brings us to what app that I use here, and that app is DeerCast. Mark and Terry Drury have came out with the DeerCast app, and I highly recommend that everybody pay the $10 or the $20, depending on how extensive you're looking to go with the app. $10 gets you a 5-day forecast. $20 a year gets you the 10-day, and that 10-day can be very crucial going into maybe that last week of October, first week of November. But why do I recommend it? Over the years, I've tried just about every app that is out there, and without naming all of them, I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this video have experienced those too. And what keeps bringing me back to DeerCast is all the other apps that I've used lead me to a dead end. There's always something that I'm searching for, whether that is how the wind and the weather, the temperature connects with the pressure, or there's always something that's missing, that I have to always use local radar or Weather Underground or NOAA or something to get that answer. And with DeerCast, with the DeerCast app, I feel that Mark and Terry have it right. I feel that I just did it this morning, making a preparation last night and a decision on what I needed to do today, as far as being the stand or not being the stand. Now I'm within keep in mind, I'm within this year all the hunting that we have local here. I'm within about a 50 or 60 mile radius of where the farms that we'll be on ourselves hunting, and all of our clients, which range from the entire state here in Michigan and into the Midwest. And I recommend this to all of them, no matter where you're at in the U.S. So our area here, this 50, 60 mile radius that we're hunting this year, I last night looked, and like I said, trying to start the season off here and trying to get a game plan on what I needed to do. The part that I like that ties into the rest of the app is when it gives you the poor, it'll give you a quality outlook for the day. It'll give you a poor, good, great. And the reason that, how do you get those? I've had this question, clients like, it might be good 20 miles from here, but is that really what it does here? And I urge you to test it. I urge you to try to make it fail, because and it doesn't. So last night was a perfect example. I sat there and I was looking at what to do today, and I could have hunted a non-core area this morning, and kind of got in there and used that sit as a scouting tool. But let's face it, it's the first day of the season. It was going to rain at 9:30 this morning, and so when I started looking at, I decided to just come into the office and get some things done here in front of the computer, and at 9:30 it's raining. So spot on, not only the precipitation part of it, but the pressure. And on the bottom there, I'll try to take some screenshots here to show you guys and stuff where I'm at. But on the bottom, if you select the day, like today, you go in and select today, it'll give you your precipitation, it'll give you your wind direction, it'll give you your pressure. And on the bottom of that, or up to the right side of that, if you click on the hourly instead of daily, go to hourly. Once you're on like today's icon, it will give you a wind and a pressure reading on the bottom. And if you see that on the bottom in that contour, what we're looking for is you're looking for when that pressure related to the temperature and the wind all meet. And like going into the end of this week, we've got a couple of good days here in central Michigan coming, and then Friday is probably the best day of the week, of the opening week here, and then it tapers off again. So keep in mind when you're watching this guy, and I've always said this before, is your pressure is a huge deal, but your pressure has to be right with your weather as far as your temperature. So anytime that you get those big ramps in a cool down, from like today, for example, where it's supposed to be 78 or 79 degrees, and on Friday it's going to be highs of like 58. If you get those 30, 40 degree weather temperature influxes or declines, and that ties in with your pressure, and your pressure is supposed to be like 30.1 or 30.2, there is a point where your pressure can get too high for the time of the year, and that's all explained in that app. And the higher the pressure gets, what I've found and what I've used, the higher the pressure gets. I love high pressure, but if it's high pressure early season when the temperatures are warm, it can actually work against you. And there is a point, I find, that's around that 32, high 31s, 32, that pressure can get too much where it'll actually bed deer. Not just bucks, it'll bed all the deer because it's too much pressure. And it's like us, feeling kind of under the weather when it's cloudy and it's humid, and it just makes you feel that tight. And that's what that high pressure, what I've seen in the past. So research that app. I think that going into the future here, used it last year, picked through it, and I've always got NOAA and Weather Underground on my phone as well. But use that, and on the bottom start studying, and like I said, start watching those ramps, and you can tell when the rain's coming. You can see when it diminishes. You can see when the pressure is right where you need to be, and that, for me, when you're hunting an area, like out of your home range or your home, let's say, or your cabin site, and you're traveling 30, 40, 50 miles to hunt per day, the worst thing you can do is travel, get in, and it's supposed to be a north wind, go 40 miles from here, and open the door, and it's a northeast wind, and you say, okay, I can still get away with the northeast wind, and at 8 o'clock it's a east northeast wind, not a northeast wind. So some of you ask, what's the difference between a northeast and an east wind? Northeast and an east to northeast wind is what that entails is your weather will start out as a north and it's going to end up as an east. Now, if it starts as an east and ends up as a north, you have to make sure where your wind is at is not what you're worried about. It's where your wind is going to be. So make sure you're not cutting off those locations displayed of your location and your time right now. Look to the future, and you can see. Make sure that wind's still going to be right, so you can still get out of that stand in a morning set, let's say, like this morning. And I think it'll really shock you, like you being able to use that into the future. Now, of course, you got to have service, and like here at the office and here at the house, it's I won't name any carriers, but service isn't the greatest. And so you have to make sure that you can reach out and get good service to make this app work. But I urge you to take a peek at this and to use this and use it to the extent of, if you look at all the money that we spend as hunters, everybody makes the joke that our venison's probably worth $30 a pound, and I wouldn't care if it's worth $150 a pound, I'd still hunt. But the fact of the matter is if you have $20 to spend, $20 a year on this app, DeerCast app, is your best $20 you're going to spend the entire season, in my opinion. Now, you can get some of the other apps, 9 and 10, like in our area, like I said, NOAA, Scout Look. There's a bunch of these other ones that will give you a free app, but they don't give you the details. So to answer the question, just the other day I was asked, what app do you use, or how do you predict this weather, or your wind and your pressure and all this related, and why do you use it? And the answer is, it's in the detail. It's not so much, I don't, I look at, obviously you have to know what it's doing right now, but I want to know what it's doing in the future within a 2 or 3 hour sit. And a lot of these apps don't give you that. You have to switch to another app to get it. And like when you're in a tree stand, the last thing that you want to be doing is fumbling through your phone from this app to that app, and this volume up, that volume down. It's all on one spot. It's at your fingertips, literally. And I feel that this is the app to use. So here in the near future, maybe today, we're going to be doing how this app ties into a game plan on when to sit and when not to sit 3, 4, 5, 10 days out. And I think you'll find that pretty interesting. So use this app, use it in detail, and I think you'll be pretty shocked at what it will do for the upcoming season, especially the early season here, so you don't make the wrong step and make that, like we always say, make that season longer than it has to be. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I've been using it now for a couple of years. Mark and Terry, I've known them in the industry for years. They're great guys, dating back to the days of Illinois, and they are years of experience, and they've got it right. They've got this app where it needs to be, and not saying that there's nothing better that they have coming, but take a peek, register. They're giving a farm away in Missouri Missouri, and there's a whole bunch of things that they have on there. They're always promoting stuff. And be sure, one last thing is, when you're looking at this and you scroll down, they actually have the videos that walk you through why they're showing what they're showing above and how it connects. So you go down through, and like right now they're in the phase 2, and it explains to you what phase 2 is. They even go into detail. I think I watched a couple days ago. They even go into detail about the green to green movement. And right now, I go a step further than that. But to me, it's also green to green. But in our area here, in many areas of the Midwest, I feel it's a grain to green. And they kind of explain that on a high level of experience, what they've seen, and you can take it to the bank. So good luck today. Get out in the tree if you can. If you're in an area that the weather does permit, and you've got those trail cameras that have showed you when they're there, and stay dry. Good luck, guys. Stay safe. Thanks.